Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope you are able to hear me and you are able to watch my screen. I have uploaded yesterday videos in our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and let's go for watch. We talked about cloud. What is cloud? What is fusion applications? What is fusion application supply chain management? What are different jobs we'll find in supply chain management? And the syllabus which we are going to cover in supply chain management cloud. This is all we have discussed yesterday. It was very basic level because there will be some few people who are not having any industry background or ERP background. They might be attended. That's the reason in first demo we have covered very basic level. Okay, so today in this session I'm going to take one assignment. Okay, one real-time assignment. And we will see how we can do that as a functional consultant. So that we will come to know what is our role and responsibility, how to do that setups, how we can go for perform those setups, how we can test it, those particular one. Okay. So now client is asking us, you can hire an employee, you can go for hire an employee, and then you have to make him as a buyer. You have to make your employee as buyer. After that, you are going to add procurement manager role so that he can go for create purchase order. And he should create the purchase order only for one BU called US1 business unit. He should not create the purchase order for other business units. It means we have to provide the security. Okay. And if this purchase order is created below 1000, then it should go for approval for manager. It means you need to set a manager also for this employee. Then what we have to do, you need to hire two employees. Okay, let's hire two employees. One is manager, another one is employee. Okay, while you are going to specify this, set the relationship between the employee and manager. Configure, saying that he is employee and he is a manager. Okay, and then if the purchase order is created less than $1,000, it should go for auto approval. If it is more than 1,000, if it is greater than or equal to 1,000, then required approval from manager. So manager will log in and do that approvals. This entire process, I'm going to do it. You just try to concentrate how we are going to do it. The same work we have to do it in the real time also. This is one type of assignment. In this particular assignment, we are going to cover how we can manage the users and employees and buyers and employee and manager relationship. Then we are going to discuss how we can work with the roles, nothing but access to the particular application area. And we are going to talk about the security. Employee should create a purchase order only for one particular business unit. I don't want to allow him to create a purchase order for other business units. Because when employees are working in the branches, business unit is nothing but a branch. If I speak in our language, it's a branch. Okay. When employees comes to office and they log in, and they should get access only for US1 BU in this scenario. And they should not allow us, they should not go for enter transactions for another BU. That's what the security we want to implement. Then we wanted to implement the approvals, how to configure the approvals. So we are going to cover almost four major scenarios here. One is hiring process, and the second one is role process. The third one is security process, and the fourth one is a approval procedure. This all we are going to cover in this particular area. Okay, so let me just enter into the applications. When we are working in the cloud environment, we'll be getting the URL and then credentials. Once we get credentials, first we have to verify whether you have the permission to perform the setup or not, your user. There are two roles we have. One is application developer. Another one is, sorry, not application developer, application implementation consultant. This role is required. Another one is IT security manager is required. These two roles are required to perform the setups, either functional or technical. Generally, once we join in the project, we are supposed to check these two roles has been assigned or not for our user. Okay. So if it is assigned, then it's fine. If not, we have to request our team leader or manager to assign this two roles. Then only we will be able to perform the setups or any other technical work over here it is. Okay. Now let's log into the application. Once we log in, how to find whether you have the permission? If let's say your manager says that I already added implementation roles for your user, you can cross check how to do that. Go to user menu. In the user menu, we have something called setup and maintenance. This is called application implementation consultant role. Setup performance here and manage the setups over here. And IT security manager means you can manage the new user information. It's like a sysadmin. Tools menu, security console. Okay. So these two things we are supposed to check. If we are not having this access, we have to request that, can you please add this implementation role so that I can start doing the setups and all. So in this case, we have, let's go to user menu and then setup and maintenance. So what is our first task? Our first task is we wanted to hire two employees. One person is manager and another person is an employee. And then we want to define the relationship between these two. Whenever we want to hire an employee, system will ask you for which company you are going to hire an employee. Obviously, it's a basic question, right? System will ask us which legal entity you are hiring. So when I'm implementing this software to Heritage Foods Private Limited, that Heritage Foods Private Limited is the legal entity, nothing but a company. So employees who are working in this company, obviously they are supposed to have a work relation with this company. So US one. And then the second question what system will ask is which branch you are working. So as client is telling, I have 400 branches, in every branch, 20, 30 employees are working. So when you are maintaining the employees information, obviously we are supposed to mention which branch is working. So these two fields are mandated. So in this scenario, I'm using these two built-in business unit and built-in legal entity. When we are working in the real time, we are supposed to create a new legal entity and we are supposed to create a new business unit according to the requirement that we call it as establishing the enterprise structure. It's one of the important setup which we are supposed to do it. We'll discuss that in our training. As it is demo, I'm going ahead with the existing one. Okay. So let's go to procurement module. Which module we are working right now? Procurement module, this assignment. And I'm going to hire an employee. Go to the task. We are doing the setup, employee setup. Go to the task, manage users. Now we got an error message here. Sometimes we'll be getting this type of issues due to FSM server down. Functional setup manager server is down. Due to that, we'll be getting this error message. Let me cross check from some other environment. Yeah, just 1 minute. Yeah, this is a new environment which we got. Let me go to our FSM setup and maintenance. So we got the access to setups FSM environment. Let's go back to navigator here and tools menu. Yes, we got the permission for security console. So both the things we have. So we can go ahead now performing this particular assignment. Okay, so let's go to procurement module. I'm going to hire first manager. So let me hire a manager first. So when we go to the task called manage users, system will ask us, let's hire employee. So persons are nothing but employees here. I'm going to specify that a manager has joined in the organization on 1st January 2019. So let's say Tata manager. So for easy recognition purpose, I'm going to keep this naming conventions here. Tata underscore manager @gmail.com. And the hiring date I'm mentioning 19. Let's keep it as 2009. Fine. So the Tata underscore manager, that's the username I would like to have for this employee. Tata underscore manager. Okay. and he is employee. Let's choose the person type as an employee, and the system will ask us for which company is an employee and for which branch he is employee. That's what we call it as legal entity and business unit. So I'm using legal employer is US1 business unit, nothing but our company, and business unit is nothing but US1 business unit. This. So both we have selected it. In fact, both are mandatory here. Both are mandatory over here it is. Okay. So manager hiring process has done successfully. Now we'll go for hiring an employee also in the same manner. It takes 10-15 seconds time to prepare this internal process for this employee, not more than that. And we have other fields, but those are not mandatory, like job, grade, department, location, mail, stop, and manager, and some other roles request. These are not mandatory. How it's done successfully. Let's go for an employee now. This is Tata employee. Let's say this employee has joined on 1st January 2023 here. Here 1st January 2023, and this is the user account I would like to have, Tata underscore MP. He is employee of the same company and the same branch. I'm going to specify. He's working for US1 legal entity and then US1 business unit. Right. Okay. So I would like to assign the manager for this employee. How to do that? Here is an option, manager. Here we have to choose our manager name. Just now we have hired successfully the manager. I'm going to specify. This is how we will define the relationship between the employee and the manager. Okay. And we have mentioned this is the user account we wanted to have. This employee is supposed to report for this manager. So what we have done is we created employee, we created user account also, and we set the manager relationship. So all these three. This is all we have completed. We have set the relationship also. Okay. Now employee wants to create a purchase order. In procurement module, we have different documents like requisitions, RFQs, quotations, purchase order, receipts, and we have different negotiation documents also. Again, different types we have. Okay. So if you want to create a purchase order, you must be a buyer. So buyer is nothing but an employee who will buy the goods from the suppliers on behalf of the organization. Okay. So in every company, there will be a finance department. The people who are working in finance department will call them as a clerk, cashier, analyst, general manager, finance manager, like that. There will be a sales department. The people who are working in sales department will call them as sales representative, sales manager, sales specialist. Okay, like that. In the same way, there will be a purchasing department also for every company who are responsible to purchase the goods or service for the organization whenever they need from the better suppliers for the better price. Okay. So in the purchasing department, whoever is working will call them as a buyers. Will call them as a buyer. So buyer is nothing but an employee who will buy the goods from the supplier or services from the supplier on behalf of the organization. Okay, everybody cannot create a purchase order. So now I want to give the permission to employee to create a purchase order. So before you give the permission, nothing but before you give the access to them, we have to make him as a buyer. So right now we have done the hiring process. I'm going to make this employee as a buyer. Manager need not be a buyer. Okay, we don't need buyer setup for the manager. So we'll call it as a agent also. Agent, procurement agent or buyer, both are same. Let's go to the task, manage procurement agent. Now system is asking for which business unit you want to make this employee as a buyer. I would like to make it for the same business unit, means same branch, US1 business unit. Okay. So I'm going to create a new agent here. So what is your procurement BU? US1 business unit. That's what my procurement BU here. And who is the agent? Nothing but an employee, Tata employee. And what is the default requisitioning business unit? US1 business unit is the default requisition. And after some time, if you say that I wanted to remove this buyer authority for this employee, you can simply go here and make it as inactive status. So he will be an employee, but he's as a buyer, he will be inactive. Okay. And if at all we want to set any printer, we can associate so that he can take the printouts when you prepare some documents. Now here is an option agent access, which is very, very important. Do you want to allow this buyer to create purchase orders or not? I given yes, he can go for create a purchase order. How about access to other agents' documents? Means other agents' purchase order. So when this employee login, whether you want to give the permission to access purchase orders of other buyers or only self documents. We wanted to give that access for others also. Okay. If you want to give the permission to access other buyers' purchase order documents, you can give. Full access means you can go for read, write, and everything. Modify only, view only, like this. None means you cannot access other agents' documents. Only you can create your own purchase orders. Purchase order, requisitions, purchase agreements, negotiation, sourcing program, catalog, supplier qualification. All this will be discussing when we are working in our syllabus, like in our training program. Okay. So at this point of time, I just checked purchase order is enabled or not. And then I said, go on, let's go for close. So I made employee is my buyer. He is a buyer and he can create a purchase order. That's what I have enabled. We don't need buyer priority for the manager, because manager just log in and he will say that either approve or reject. He don't want to create a POs. Okay. So it doesn't require. He is just a manager employee. He will be just communicating with the employees. Okay. So we have completed the first setup and the second one. The third one is when employee wants to log in, he required some role, right? Procurement manager, because he want to create a purchase orders. Where do we set up this user management, role management? Which environment? If it is setups, generally we'll do it here. We call this environment as FSM. We can also call it as admin access. But if at all you want to go for perform the actions related for users and roles, we have to do it here, security. Go to tools menu, security console. In the security console, we will find two tabs here, users tab and roles tab. Let's go to the tab called users. Let's go to the tab called users tab here. And we have already created user accounts, right? For every employee, one user account required. We have already created for our employee as well as we created for our manager. Both user accounts are active status, and it's not logged. Let's go for manager. If we want to set up the password, we can reset the password here. Let me reset the password for manager as well as for employee also. By default, some roles has been assigned for this user. We have not assigned any role, right? We just created a user account. But after that, we have not assigned any role. But if we look at here, the roles here, excuse me, auto provisioned as yes. So somebody, what they have done is, for these roles, they have enabled checkbox as yes, auto provision as yes. It means whenever you create a user account, new account, automatically these roles will be assigned for those particular users. They have enabled the checkbox. That's why we got it here. Yeah. Not an issue. We just need employee role for this manager. It doesn't require any other option. Let's go back to another employee user account. Okay. So for employee user account, we wanted to reset the password. Okay. Let's go for add the roles. So what is the basic definition of role? Role is nothing but access to the application. When I say procurement application, it's indirectly procurement module. In procurement module, there will be some 20 forms, 20 pages, creating requisition, search for the requisition, purchase order creation, cancel purchase order, and search for the purchase order. Like that, let's say 20 pages are there. So if you want to open those pages, first you need the access for that. That is what we call it as a role. So role is nothing but authority or access to the application, access to the application. So if you don't add any role, user cannot access the application. So I'm going to make him as a first employee, basic employee role. Then I'm going to make it as procurement manager here. We are going to make him as a procurement manager. I'm giving the permission to create the purchase orders. For every module, there will be a 7 to 8 roles. Inventory module around 7 to 8, procurement module around 7 to 8, order management around 5 to 6. All these modules must be, all these roles must be on our fingertips. When we go for an interview, they'll ask you, you are telling that last 4 years you are working in procurement module. Can you tell me which roles are there? And what is the functionality of that particular role? Have you customized any type role? If you have done the customization, what was the requirement? Have you created any new roles, custom roles? Okay, what was the requirement? So obviously, whenever we are working in the real time, we are supposed to work with the existing roles, means seeded roles. We are supposed to create a new one and customize all the roles according to the requirement. It's our responsibility as a functional consultant. We'll be doing all those things when we are doing training. Right now, I'm using this built-in role called procurement manager. So what this role will do is this role will allow you to create a purchase order, to create a purchase order. So this employee can log in and go for create a purchase orders. Right. Click done button. So I'm not giving any permission to this employee. I'm not giving the admin access also. Just he can log in and then go for create a purchase order. Right. Save and close. So what we have done right now here is we have assigned the roles to the user. We have assigned the roles to the user. This setup we have completed successfully. So there are different categories we have, like abstract role, job role, duty role, data role, privileges, like that. We'll talk about those roles whenever we are working with the procurement module. Once we give the role, what happened? User can open the application. Nothing but we given the application access. How about database access? When you log in and open the page, you got the role, right? Obviously, you can open the page. That's fine. How about the data? Data means backend. So you have 5 branches, means 5 business units, but you are working for this business unit. Obviously, you are an employee of this branch. When you log in, you are supposed to access only this branch data. You should not access other branch data. Maybe client says that he is a manager. Obviously, we have to give the permission for him to access for multiple business units. That also we can do the setup. So basically, there will be 2 types of accesses to the ERP application. One is application access. Second one is a data access. Application access is nothing but a role. Data access is nothing but a security. Data access is nothing but security. So we are supposed to provide first role. After providing the role, then we have to provide the data access. We have to provide the data access. That's what we are going to do it now. Okay. So let's go to FSM environment here. So roles and users will do this. Data access will do it from the setup and maintenance. Only 2 places will be doing the setups. One is FSM. This is what we call it as FSM. Another one is tools and security console. Here only we do related for users and roles, not other, but all the setups will do it here only. Let's go to procurement module. What we want to do now, we want to give the access to the employees to the specific business unit data. Okay. So that's what we call it as data access. I have 5 branches data in my database. So which business unit you want to give the permission to your employee? Manage business unit data access for users. Select the task. Create. Here, system is going to ask us what is the role name, what is the username. Here, it's going to ask us what is username, what is role name. So what is our username? Tata_employee. The moment when you choose the user, then it will shows the list of roles which we have assigned. Employee role, no need to worry about. That is just to access the self information about the employee. You might have seen when you join in the organizations, your HR department will ask you, can you please update your personal details by logging this particular app or particular web application and update your personal documents and everything. That's what this role. Self-information, standard functionality, like checking your pay slips, checking your documents, updating present address. Okay, these are all things. This is what we are working. Project procurement manage. Now security context. System is asking for which business unit you want to give the permission. I want to give the permission for US1 business unit. That's all. If you want to give the permission for multiple business units, there is an option here, duplicate. Same user, same role, same security context, business unit, and then go for assign this business unit. So same user, same role, business unit, US2 second business unit. Like this, we can provide the permission for multiple business units. Can provide the permission for multiple business units. Save and close. Done. That's all. This is how we will provide the data access for the users. Okay. So there will be two access. One is role, another one is a security. Role is nothing but application access. If you just assign only the role to the employee, what employee can do is employee can log into the application and open the page. He cannot create a record, update a record, delete a record, search a record. He cannot work with the data. There won't be any data access because you don't have permission for the database. You got a permission for application only, front end. Then second option, you have to perform data access. I given the data access for two business units to access multiple business units data, right? So two branches data you can work, create, update, delete, and search. All the things can be performed over here. Okay, so here two things we have done. One is data access permission, another one is a role access, two things. So whenever we provide the data access, we must run one program called LDAP process. This is very, very important. Go to this menu, initial users. You have to run the program called user and role synchronization process. Internally, we called it as a LDAP process. Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. What this program will do is, it will go for synchronize your users information, roles and grants information. It will synchronize the users, roles and grants information. All this information will be synchronized. It means it will be combined internally. It will prepare that particular concept. And let's go for submit. Generally, when we are working in the project, this process will be scheduled. Or at the same time, somebody might have submitted. You will get an error message saying that already this process is running in the background because someone has submitted. Either you have to wait. No problem. Even if someone has submitted, it will go for synchronize our users and roles information also. So we don't need to again submit. Okay. So now the LDAP process has completed successfully. It's one of the important question in the interviews. I have added the role to the employee. I want to check whether the role has been applied for my employee or not. Do we need to run the LDAP process? No. For the roles, we don't need to run the LDAP process. The moment when you attach the role, it will automatically apply. But when it comes for the data access, whenever you provide the data access for your user and role combination, then we must run the LDAP process. Only for data access purpose, we must run the LDAP process, which will synchronize your roles, users and grants information in the system. Okay. Now we have submitted the LDAP process for this. Right. Now let's go for login with our employee. Who is our employee? Tata. Right. Tata employee. And we made him as a buyer and we given the permission, means access to the procurement manager role. We provided data access for this particular user. Now employee is going to log in and try to create a purchase order. We will check that whether the purchase order can be created or not. After that, we'll set up the approvals. Okay, so let's go for logout from current user. Data employee. How to find the role has been associated with this employee has got populated. How we can find is we can get it from navigator. In the navigator menu, me is nothing but employee role. This is employee role. It's a self information. Employee can update their pay slips. Sorry, they can view their pay slips. They can apply for the leaves. They can subscribe any learning online classes are there. They can subscribe. They can update their career and performance information over here, and all other. That's a basic employee role. Now this is what procurement role. We given the permission to create a purchase orders. We have not given the permission for any security console, see, and in fact we have not given any permission for setups also. We have not added implementation roles to the user, right? So that's the reason it's not going to show it over here. It is. Let me go back to navigator, purchase orders here. Now I'm checking that whether you are able to create a purchase order for US1 business unit or not. Go to task list. We can see right side creating the requisitions, creating the purchase orders, creating the agreements, and configuring the suppliers, approved supplier. A lot of options are there. Right now, we want to create a purchase order. Now we can see that system is going to allow us to work with the purchase order called US1 business unit. That's fine. So the role has been applied successfully. Data access also has been applied successfully. Both are available. Okay. Now, what is the next concept? We need to work with the approvals. Very, very important concept, approval configuration. We call it as a BPM, business process management workflow. By using that also we can set the approvals. We have another concept called AME, approval management engine. We have to be clear both when we are working in the real time. We should learn BPM workflows. We should learn AME also, approval management engine. This is very simple requirement. We can do it by using BPM. By using approval management engine. Okay. So let's go to approval management engine and configure the approval process. Whenever we create a purchase order for this particular business unit, less than 1,000 means auto approval, more than $1,000 means required approvals from the manager. Okay. So as an admin, we have to log in and do the setup. Let's log out from here. Let's log in as an admin. Go to FSM, go to user menu, setup and maintenance. Procurement. We are working now procurement. In procurement also, which area we are working, which functional area we are working, approvals. Go to approval management. Again in approvals, we have multiple approvals. We have the approval for requisition documents, supplier negotiation, purchasing documents, supplier registration, spend authorization. A lot of approvals are there. Now we are working for purchase order, purchasing document approvals. There will be two types of approvals mainly, serial and parallel. Serial means one by one. Let's say I need approval from three managers. First manager has to approve, then it will go to second manager. Again he has to approve, then it will go to third manager. That is a serial. Second one is a parallel. Parallel means the notification will be sent to all three people at a time, three managers at a time parallelly. Out of three members, majority of the people, whoever approve or reject, the decision will be taken by the system. For example, out of three members, two people has rejected, then obviously it will go for rejection. Two people are approved means obviously it will go for approval, right? So that's how we can set the approvals either serially or parallelly, one by one or parallel. We'll see now serial option. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm going ahead with this terms approval serial option, routing as serial, and it is in fact it's already enabled. Okay, so if at all you want to go for another options, we can do. We have parallel FII for your information, just for sending the notification. We'll talk about that later. Now this approval process we want to customize, edit. Excuse me, edit rules. What is our rule? It's very simple. When you create a purchase order in this particular branch, means in this particular business unit, verify the amount and set up the supervisor. Okay, so there are some rules already available, but those rules are related for some other business units. So we don't need to worry about that. There are some rules already available related for our business unit. So if the procurement BU is equal to US1 BU. So if at all you want to go for customize this, you can customize, or you can go for create a new one. So what I'll do is I'll go for disable this existing rules, and I'll go for create a new rule. Both are same. So how we can disable this? We can select the rule like this, and we can go for disable it. So I'm going to specify the rule name as just Tata rule. It's okay. We can give any name. We have nothing to do while working with the rule. Just will give the name. Here actual conditions will write. Two conditions are there. One is first we have to verify the business unit is US1 BU or not. So attribute is nothing but a column. So I'm going to specify the procurement business unit is equal to US1 business unit or not. Press OK. If it is equal to US1 BU, it means when any employee trying to create a purchase order for this business unit, second condition, we want to verify the amount, right? So verify the document total. Document type is there. Document total amount is there at header level. If the document total amount is greater than or equal to $1,000. If it is greater than or equal to $1,000, then what we want to do? if both the conditions are satisfied. If both the conditions are satisfied, what action you want to take it? I need approval from the manager. Add action. Here, I'm mentioning that I need approval. Yeah, that's fine. You need approval from group of people, or you wanted to go with the job level hierarchy or position level hierarchy, or you need approval from one person, single approval, that can be anyone, or you need approval supervisor hierarchy. Right now, we required the approval from the manager. That's a supervisor, right? Supervisor hierarchy. Approval chain of the buyer, whoever is created purchase order. It means if the buyer is going to create a purchase order, his supervisor has to approve it. Supervisor means it's manager. His manager has to approve it. Do you want to start with buyer or manager? Approval. Sometimes some organizations says that first buyer has to create a purchase order. First buyer should approve. Then he has to send it to manager. Then manager will go for approval. Like that, we can start with buyer or manager. In this scenario, I don't want approval from the buyer. Just he will create and submit for approval. Manager should start. Manager level, it should start approval. How many managers you need approvals? Let's say you need approval from two levels. Two levels means if ex-employee create a purchase order, his manager has to approve first. Again, his manager's manager should approve it. Approve or reject, whatever. Okay. So I'm mentioning only one level. One level means the moment when buyer create a purchase order, it will be submitted for approvals, manager, and manager has to approve or reject. That's it. And who is the top worker in this hierarchy? Let's say I'm mentioning Mr. John or someone else is the top approval. Let's take some employee, not a problem. So we have mentioned that if the purchase order is created in this particular business unit, if the amount is more than $1,000, greater than or equal to $1,000, system should go ahead with supervisor hierarchy, get the approval from the manager only from one person. That's the action system should take up. Okay, so this is the one rule I have created successfully. Next, I'm going to create another one. You can go for duplicate this rule also. Where is the second rule? Here. Same conditions, procurement business unit is equal to US1 BU and the amount is less than, that's what I'm trying to edit. Less than $1,000. We don't need approval. Edit. We wanted to go for automatic. Automatically approve or reject. Approve it. So the purchase order, once it is created for US1 business unit, system will check the amount. If it is less than $1,000, it's automatically approved. If it is greater than or equal to $1,000, required approval from his supervisor. Okay. Now let's go for save. Two conditions we have defined successfully. Save and close. Finally, we have to go for deploy. During the deployment, system will check many validations has got errored out. It is going to verify all the setups, whatever we have done for approval, and finally it's go for yes or no, it's deployed or not. Now this is how it will be done. So we have successfully completed this. Approval setup we have configured. Now we wanted to test. We did for the branch wise US1 BU. So whoever create a purchase order for this particular business unit, it will work. So let's log in as an employee first. Tata employee is going to create a purchase order. Let's go to navigator, procurement, purchase orders. Go to task list here, create purchase order. And the company is giving the order for supplier. So supplier setups, we have to do it. In this assignment, I have not done. I'm using built-ins. We have done only one setup, that is buyer setup. We have not created even business units also. We are using built-in business units. We have not configured the locations also. We are going ahead with the built-in locations. But all those things we are supposed to configure. Items, quantity, unit of measurement, supplier, ship to location, business unit. That's what we discussed in our previous class, our syllabus, supply chain management syllabus. Okay, so purchase order we are going to create for which business unit? US1 BU. Who is creating? Tata employee is going to create. But we specified the approval at branch wise as well as the amount based, not the employee wise. We have not mentioned employee wise approval. We said anybody can create, no problem. But if the PO is created for this business unit, and if the amount limit is this less than or greater than or equal to, then this type of approval. What we will do is we'll create a purchase order first less than $1,000. We'll see auto approval is working or not. Then we will go for more than $1,000. If it is more than $1,000, it need approval from manager. So this is our PO number, purchase order number. Go down. Line level will be specifying the item names. A lot of options are there. Every checkbox, every field is important as functional consultant. So for every field, there will be a history in the back end and setups also. We are supposed to learn all those. I'm mentioning this item name. We are not getting the items. Okay. Let's see the category wise. Items we are not getting means so someone might have disabled that. Let's see. So we are going for 100. Price is 30. 3,000. Okay. So we'll take price is 5. So that amount comes as $500. Location is this. Shipment details. Where supplier has to ship this product. Okay, remove the item. I'm not using the item. I'm going ahead with the category. Next PO will go with item. I'll see that. I think setup might be missing. I'm telling that the goods are required on so and so date. Let's go for save the purchase order. How much amount? Purchase order amount $500 only. It's less than $1,000. And we can verify here itself what is the approval process system has taken as per the approval setup. Okay. Expense account sub inventory we do not have. Okay. Purchase. Someone has changed the accounting combination setups. Let me cross check that. This is a problem. Someone has changed the inventory. That's why we are not getting even items also. So let me take it for 001 inventory. It's okay. I think some items has been changed, the inventories. It's okay. Let's save this purchase order. The account for account type PO charge account could not be determined because there are no mappings for the mapping set expense account sub inventory. Okay. While generating the accounts, we are getting the problem. Let me just Someone has customized this accounting tool. That's the reason we are not getting. Let's see. Generally, we have separate option TAD, transaction accounting definition, which we'll be using to create accounting transactions per purchase order. So someone has created mapping sets over there. That's the reason we were getting some error messages. We'll be talking about that also. It's important. Generating the accounting combination at distributions. We have mainly 5 accounts: charge account, variance account, distribution charge account, accrual account, distribution variance account. That is just to manage the item cost as well as the procurement cost for our organizations will be doing. Yeah, now it's working. So I've disabled that mapping set. Somebody has created, but they have not done properly. That's the reason we were getting error messages. Now it is showing that applications development framework is the approval. It means auto approval. Your purchase order is auto approval. Let's go for submit. Because this amount is less than $1,000, we'll create one more purchase order which is more than $1,000. Obviously, system should show that here you need approval from the manager. So the value of the bill to location is not valid. You must enter either requested date or promised date for planned items. So the item which you have taken is planned. Purchase order charge account could not be determined. Variance account could not be determined. So that's what I said. These all accounting combinations are not working. It's okay. Anyway, it's showing the result. Actually, our problem, our assignment is checking the approvals are working or not. Let me go for create a purchase order. This time I'll go the purchase order more than $1,000. So what we'll do, we'll put the quantity, let's say $200. Sorry, 200 quantity. Price we have specified already. Sorry, line level quantity we did 200, right? Price already we mentioned $10. How much will get? 2,000. So your purchase order is 2,000. More than $1,000. Check the approval. Now see that approval system is telling that you need an approval from the manager. So your manager has to approve. Whoever is the current buyer is there, his manager is supposed to go for approval. Here it is. Okay. So this is about the approval process which we have. So due to accounting combination, we are not able to get the notifications and all. Accounting means again we have to spend at least 1 hour time and we have to take what issues are there and other options. Yeah, that's the value of the attribute bill to location is not valid. Bill to location, okay, we can rectify. It's not a problem. While creating purchase order, header level will give the bill to location is not valid. That's what system is showing. Yeah, now bill to location is okay. You must enter either a requested date or promised date for planned items. We have given, right? At line level, maybe we have not specified. We provided line level also. It's fine. We did line level as well as the shipment level also, both. Okay. Fine. Anyway, our approval is successfully completed as per our assignment here. Okay. So let's work for this. Tomorrow will be our final demo session. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the requirement gathering, how we will be interacting with our business units, what documents we are going to follow that, and what are the different types of OEM methodology templates we are going to take up here. And we'll discuss that tomorrow. And tomorrow will be our final demo session. From day after tomorrow onwards, our regular sessions will be started. So I'll keep this particular video in the YouTube channel. You can access directly from here. Okay. Thank you.